Second topic today, we alluded to this in our draft week takeaways, but Ace Bailey has finally reported to the Utah Jazz after his holdout. So Ace was clearly trying to steer his way to Washington to the sixth pick in the draft. That's what him and his representation wanted to happen. And they wouldn't work out for anybody. They basically were unavailable throughout the entire pre-draft process in hopes to choose their destination and end up in Washington. That should have been a major red flag that they want to go to Washington in the first place. I digress. He goes to Utah. You loved the idea of Utah picking him fifth. You applauded that, said that was the right move. They had to roll the dice on it. After he gets selected by Utah, everybody thinks this is going to just come to a nice, cordial end. No, the last 48 hours since the draft, Ace Bailey and his representation were basically saying they weren't going to show up. We don't have to come to Utah. We won't come to Utah. You drafted us. Haha, that was cute. We're not going anywhere. And I think this was a last-ditch effort to try and force Utah's hand into trading him. But Utah made it extremely clear, it was reported by Shams and others, that they were not moving him at all. And the exact quote was, if Ace Bailey is going to be an NBA player, it will be in Utah. They called his bluff. Ace Bailey has now finally arrived at Utah. I think he showed up on Sunday, Cart. How do you make sense of this entire saga? I know you like Utah drafting him, but what is Ace Bailey doing?
Yeah, this is what it comes down to me. Look, I don't like the narrative surrounded about I get it, understand that people around in the camp are all funky and whatnot. I'm not saying that's not a thing. The part that irks me is the entitlement of it, right? Like I I would probably come on here and say Cooper Flag shouldn't be doing this. So if Cooper Flag's not doing it, then Ace Bailey shouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't say Dylan Harper should do something like this. So Ace Bailey certainly shouldn't be doing it. I just feel like there's a little bit of disconnect of who, and I don't like saying this because I like people to be confident in themselves and believe in themselves, but there's just a sense of who do you think you it's irrational confidence to the point where it's annoying, right? Who do you think you are that you can do this? And I'm all for player empowerment and things like that, but there is a little bit of come on now. What are you doing here?
Yeah, look, it's interesting because we're not an NFL show, but doesn't this whole thing feel awfully similar to the Shadur Sanders nonsense? Where I don't know, the entire draft became the story of one guy. And I'm not comparing their decisions individually because I don't even think Shador and Dion tried to strong arm him to a team as much as Ace Bailey's representation did. But it just the narrative of the draft became can anyone trust this kid, the person? And the NFL teams clearly decided no, Shadur's not good enough for us to roll the dice on this. Utah did. Utah was like, yeah, I think he is good enough that we'll deal with all of this. For what it's worth, I disagree with you on loving Utah's move. I wouldn't touch him. And that was one of my pre-draft beliefs was he was going to fall out of the top 10. For reasons I said earlier in the show, I want nothing to do with how crazy this whole family agent representation shit is. He's just not that good. This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video. He's just not. He takes contested twos 20 times a game. That's what he does. He plays a delusional brand of basketball that tracks with everything him and his team are doing in the last month. It's honestly kind of jarring to watch play out. If it hits, it will be great. But honestly, even if he is like a miniature Kevin Durant in terms of talent, he might have Amani Bates's brain. He might have like all of the worst toxic habits of guys who have flamed out of the league that have prevented them from reaching immensely talented ceilings. So,
Because that's the scary part about it too. Like there maybe not people that I can put like in the same mold of like the level of talent he might have, but dog players flame out the league for having that type of mind, and they're talented players too. But like there's just a certain way you got to approach things, right? And it'd be sad if that's how it ends. Like because when we get to the end of this, the worst case scenario is just like this player who was highly rated, who won like 14 games at Rutgers, never works out in the NBA, bounces around, super talented, finds a role in like year 11, has a podcast, says, "Wow, I was such a young dumb kid and like wish I could take it back," but he's some role player on a team.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. If he like why did they want to go to Rutgers but not Philadelphia? Like, can someone explain that to me?
I mean, there was connections to Rutgers. That's why they were there.
Just Dylan and money.
Yeah, and like others on the staff.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. How do you think this ends? I mean, I'm not talking like 20 years from now. I'm talking, how does year one of Ace Bailey end?
Well, it's Utah, so like, what are they gonna do? What's Ace gonna do?
What do you mean?
Like,
Well, he's there. He's playing now. I'm talking like, how does season one go for Ace Bailey?
the thing is, I feel like now it's set the tone that it's gonna be toxic because he set the tone that he's supposed to do this, that, and the third, and he's this franchise changing player, and he didn't want to be there. What do you think's the first stretch where he's not doing well gonna look like?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm any player on the Utah Jazz, I hate this dude. Like I just point blank. But that's how I'm wired. Maybe there are more humble teammates than me. Do you think Keontae George is a more humble teammate than me?
No,
Like who in the Utah locker room seems like someone who's gonna put up with this? Lowry Markkinen loving this?
I feel like Taylor Hendricks is gonna be the median for this team,
You think so?
or like Cody Williams.
Yeah, I don't know. It could happen. It's a mess of a roster, point blank. So maybe that's why you feel comfortable bringing in another mess. But
You know what the great recipe is to fix a mess of a roster is? Ace Bailey in his camp.
I mean, we saw two very different routes at this, right? Like Charlotte kind of feels like they got a weird locker room. So they drafted 17 Caucasian guys and said it was about culture. And then Utah feels like they have a chaotic locker room. They're like, let's add the most chaotic guy in the draft.
Let's double down on chaos.
Maybe there's a middle ground between the two of them. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't see it.